According to Ernest Bartendez, in an article posted on November 12, 2009, the lyrics of original Mexican music touch upon major issues in Mexico as well as in the Mexican immigrant community in the United States. Okay. The CD is of my current favorite regional Mexican group known as Banda Recodo. Their music represents my involvement in the regional Mexican music community because this particular music group is the reason I became involved with the culture. Mexican music consists of many genres, but the regional Mexican is often overlooked. First, I will give some background on Banda Recodo and how it represents the regional Mexican music culture, and then I will talk about how I identify with this culture and the values that I have learned from it. Regional Mexican music can be traced back to the golden age of Mexican cinema that began in the 1930s. This specific album was released last year, but the group's formation took place in 1937 by a man named Cruz Lizarraga. Banda Recodo performed for members of the high society in Mexico and also at bailes, which in English is translated into dances. It first started off as an instrumental group, but in the 80s, vocalists were added and its popularity migrated into the United States. The genre to which this group belongs to represents the different aspects of the regional Mexican music culture. This culture can be found in clubs that hold these bailes and also in regional Mexican concerts. I have gained many values from this culture represented through this album. The first is the importance of having fun and letting loose, and then the second is the importance of friendship, and the third is the value of rhythm through the music, and the fourth is the value of awareness, because regional Mexican music often talks about social issues in Mexico, and then the fifth is appreciation for the Mexican heritage that this music comes from and that I come from as well. I went over how Banda Recodo's album represents the regional Mexican music culture, and now I will go into how I identify with this culture. I identify with this culture because it makes me feel like I belong, and also because I feel it brings me closer to my Mexican heritage. When I was little, I didn't like this kind of music because I always associated it with having to clean, having to do my chores, because when I would wake up, my mom would be playing it. But after I was drawn into the culture in 2008 after a visit to Mexico, where I spent most of my time with my cousins, and they introduced me to the bailes and the music and everything that came with it. When I came back in the United States, I didn't have anyone to share this with until my best friend started to like the culture as well, and we attended our first Banda Recodo concert together. That concert was like my inauguration into the regional Mexican culture, because it was the first time I was exposed to the culture with other members of the culture. I incorporate the values I've learned from this culture into my everyday life. The music helps me relax when I am stressed, and sometimes I will go clubbing to have fun and escape from the stress. Additionally, the friends I've made while clubbing are friends that I hold as close and that I wouldn't have met otherwise. In my circle of family and friends, having rhythm and being able to dance is very important, which is why I consider rhythm of value. Also, many of the lyrics to these songs help me stay up to date with social issues in Mexico, which is important because I have many relatives who live there, and when I hear a song talk about a current issue in Mexico, it reminds me that I should research what is going on and keep in touch with all of my family members from over there. And then this culture has given me a new appreciation for my Mexican heritage, a value that I think about whenever my family celebrates a Mexican tradition. To sum it all up, now you have more information about Mexican music and its subgenre regional Mexican. I spoke about Banda Recodo and how their music and album represents the regional Mexican music culture, and about how I came to identify with this culture and how I integrate the values I learned into my life. This culture is quite big in Southern California, and there are many clubs that cater to regional Mexican music fans. It's an exciting part of the Latin entertainment industry that is quickly rising in popularity in Hollywood.